Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10 on Rift, and I'm going to be playing with the 39th Guards Rifles. As you can see, this deck is a little bit different to normal in that it has absolutely no infantry whatsoever. No infantry in the infantry tab, no recon infantry, none of that, just pure vehicles. So similar to a video I did a little while back where I did infantry only, this is no infantry allowed. And Rift seemed like a pretty good map to do it on. Also 39th Guards is a pretty nice division for this because it can fill its infantry tab with UAZs, which can use grenade launchers and SPG-9s. Anyway, Mi-24V getting off to a good start there, managing to shoot down No H-58 Kiowa, which is a quite expensive recon helicopter. Enemies are now going to be coming up with an OH-58. First missile's going to miss, second missile going to hit. He manages to hit me back, but thanks to the Mi-24 being a flying tank, we managed to survive that hit, and we can back off, get that fixed up, and rearmed. Meanwhile, SPG-9's going to be firing away. Those recoilless rifles, able to put damage onto these poor scouts running for their life as those HE rounds come in. On the left hand side, I believe I managed to kill like a jeep with them, but other than that they just got picked off by the M1A1A cav and the Milan 2s. Meanwhile, the rest of my troops are now arriving, the TATBV, TATBVK, and we've got the two OSAs here providing my AA. I've also decided to bring up a couple of Kubs, which are providing long-range AA, and you'll see them be quite effective throughout this game. Now at this moment in time, you can see there's quite a high density of units opposite us, so we've got to be really careful not to overextend and just be ran down at the start of the game. We're going to cede the sector early to them, and I'm just hoping that Jazzband does not suicide his TATBVs too hard, because it would make us look pretty weak. But we got a lot of TATs. Wooden Box has brought up a TATUD from the 119th. I've obviously got TATBVs because I'm in 39th. And Jazzband, I think, was also using the 39th, so yeah, he's using primarily TATBVs. So HGM's flying towards the enemy. And this is one way that the Soviets have an advantage in these open range combat situations. You've got to make sure that you use these HGMs effectively. HGMs, when they hit, cause a lot of cohesion loss for enemy tanks. And that is exceptionally effective against NATO tanks because they don't have autoloaders. And so the crew being stressed actually causes them to fire less frequently. They have lower rate of fire. Whereas when a Soviet tank gets hit, a TATBV for example, it has an autoloader, and this means that stress doesn't affect rate of fire. And that's actually a huge bonus for the Soviets to have. Obviously HGMs being able to be fired from your tanks is a huge buff because you have a range advantage. So far so good. We managed to keep the enemy at bay. Eagle there coming in for a strafe onto an Mi-24V and gets shot down. I would not really recommend Eagles for engaging helicopters. They just don't tend to be able to one pass them, and that's probably the most important trait. Eagle though manages to get the Su-24 MP there, so nice kill from the Eagle, and that's exactly what you should be using it for. The engagement's going to continue on the ground here. TATBV trying to have a go at the M1A1A cav, but the M1A1A cav has 65% accuracy compared to the 55% of my TATBV, so not having a fun time at the moment, but I'm able to tank a few hits because of the higher HP that the Soviets have. The real scary thing, honestly, in the NATO-Soviet matchup is if the NATO tanks manage to get on top of you, get closer, manage to get into range to actually fire their guns before you fire at them, then you will basically be at a disadvantage. Like if they manage to get first strike by using smoke or cover to get close to you, then you're in trouble. You want to make sure that you maintain range, use the HGMs to lower their cohesion, and then start driving forwards to finish them off whilst their cohesion is low. In this case, you can see that my tanks have got pretty low on health, so I'm going to have to back them up. We're going to have to reload them, get them resupplied. As you can see, I have already brought up a couple of these MTLBs, these sort of armoured personnel carriers that are supply vehicles. They have fixed up and resupplied my Mi-24B, but that's going to head back now to the FOB back here and get themselves filled up. Thunderbolt going to be flying over in the horizon. Wing gets taken off, shot down thanks to my Cub hitting it, followed up by the Osa there. Another Thunderbolt doing a lot of damage to Farks here. Tunguska trying to find the last missile on target, but not quite managing to do so. Wooden Box looking for the HGMs onto the Abrams as they push forwards. Got to be careful though, the Thunderbolt's coming back around. Wooden Box rightly going to be popping his smoke, so the Thunderbolt can't get on target there. And flies way too close to the sun. Shot down, second Thunderbolt dealt with. Very, very nice that the Thunderbolts have both been dealt with there. MiG-21 almost crashing into the T-80BBK in the meantime. Now what was nice about this situation and it being a 10v10 is me not having any infantry didn't matter all that much, because as you can see, Wooden Box has got his Spetsnaz here hiding nice and far up with the GRU trait, so able to spot lots of enemy forces. So it's GSR trait, sorry. SU-25 definitely trying to go a little deep there for the M1A1 Abrams. If it had got the kill, probably would have been worth the kill, but in this case not going to. Also the MI8 suffering the same fate. So just got to wait really at the moment for my MTLBs to arrive. I'm bringing 4 of them up to fix up my tanks, and then we can make a consolidated push forwards to try and take out Keyboard Warrior and Jackal, and also Roxy Alpha. I believe Roxy Alpha at this point though was an AI, so unfortunately they had disconnected. Anyway, T-62s on the way. T-62s, especially the T-62 MV, pretty good in this sort of situation because they have the Rapira HGM that they can fire out of their main gun, and this particular HGM has 2,800 meter range now with 60% accuracy. The accuracy of this HGM was actually buffed a couple patches ago, and it's become really, really strong. So I'm going to be trying to utilize that alongside my heavier tanks in order to try and hit the enemy tanks with HGMs before we engage at closer ranges. And my 24V caught out by the PVADs. Not going to be lasting very long, but the T-80 is moving up, taking out the PVADs. Wooden Box taking every opportunity to get some kills in there. Bill gets hit by an HGM. HGM's however going into the CV, and that's going to go down. So all of my tanks are now fixed up. I'm going to be looking to push forwards, meet up with the T-62 MVs, set up a constructed push that is going to allow us to break through our opponents. Like, as long as all of these tanks are alive and in this tree line, there's really not much our enemy can do. They can maybe use like cluster strikes or like artillery. Artillery would probably be the best bet. Like a cluster airstrike would not really work because of the amount of AA we have. But definitely artillery onto this tree line would certainly hurt us. But there's nothing real or like substantial opposite us right now. I'm getting ready for the T-62s to push forwards. We've got the line of T-80BVs and the T-80BBK. T80BVK actually providing them with the extra veterancy, so we get more accuracy. You can see the chance to hit goes up because they are veteran, so that's nice. And also the T80BVK in this case will be able to obviously capture the center sector, because things at the moment, we're capturing Charlie and we're capturing Foxtrot, but the opponents are holding Hotel, Echo, and currently the left side is contested. So pushing through the middle here will certainly help our team. You can see I have brought up a Nakatsaya. And Nakatsaya is super important in this situation because you can see the amount of HGMs that our opponent has. Jacko with the Milan 2s, Keyboard Warrior with the Milan 2s, and if I can just avoid having to engage them entirely, then that works for me. Bella 10M trying its best to shoot down the Apache and does manage to do so, but sacrificed its brother on the road there. MI8 MTV getting too close to enemy air defense. When you zoom in and look at the explosions on this map, it looks so cool. I really enjoy it. We'll see the Akatsaya shots come in soon. Looking for that Milan kill so that we can open up a ground push for our vehicles. Unfortunately, I did lose a T62 there to the A10, but we managed to shoot down the A10, so I'll take that trade. Certainly a big threat in this sort of situation. You know, it could easily kill all 4 of those T62s if I didn't have AA, but AA, of course, getting the job done in this case. These 2 Cubs out of ammo for the time being. I will spot that and get supply over there at some point. But for now, Wooden Box, he is making a push. So we're going to join him. These T80Us and T80UDs, quite a bit more beefy than my T80BVs, but certainly able to help out. So here we go. The tank push moving forwards. T62 getting hit by the Milan 2 there. Able to get my shots on target, however, and that goes down. Since this one's damaged, we're going to move it back, get it fixed up, whilst the others continue their advance. We want to try and get on top of the M1A1 Abrams here. Whilst this is all going on, by the way, our right side actually got pushed out quite substantially, and Fark's having to deal with the push from the noob here with his M1A1s. So we're trying to make as much progress as quickly as possible so that we can capture the middle and start to build up our conquest points, because at the moment the enemy are actually in the lead. This M1A1, as you can see, it has got low cohesion and is going to be firing pretty slowly indeed. Just going to let the HGMs fire where I can. No real reason to close range if I don't have to. We do want to finish off these M1A1s. You'll see me now attack move towards this tree line so that I can catch them out on the other side. Meanwhile, F-16 getting taken out the sky by the long-range AA. Always fun to watch those missiles fly up into the sky like that. M1A1 going down. Fortunately going to get hit by the Panzergren on the left there. They're not going to last too long though, as all of my tanks open up. M1A1 started to come back forwards, straight into the line of sight of one of my T80s, so take that out. Now just trying to clean up the rest of this infantry. And this is where me lacking infantry is a little bit unfortunate, because I'd be able to spot that a lot sooner if I was screening my force with infantry. But in this case, I'm just going to have to use UAZs. So I've got a bunch of these UAZs now coming up with these grenade launchers, and they will certainly help deal with any infantry. The other great thing about these UAZs is enemy infantry can actually fire at them, revealing their position. There we go. Grenade launchers firing away. The Alpha not liking that one bit. So in a nice position here. I've kind of left my tanks quite vulnerable though. And you can see I'm going to be trying to get my OSA up the road as soon as possible because the AH-1F is currently harassing those for free. So here comes some more supply. I'm going to be ordering that in. I'm going to be keeping this supply nearby my AA because obviously it's pretty important that they maintain missiles throughout the game because it's 10v10. There's a lot of aircraft that can be called in. AA is super important. Right, now we're going to be ordering ourselves over to the right hand side here. Having sort of cleaned out this center area and capturing it, we're now going to start to press to the right hand side because the right hand side has been completely cleaned out for our team. So game on. UAZs charging forwards with their grenade launchers, followed up by my tanks, one of which is reversing for some reason, but the rest moving forwards. I probably gave this a reverse command. Yeah, it's got a reverse follow command on the T-80BB, so it's following it in reverse, which is actually quite amusing now that I've spotted it. Regardless, keeping the T-80BBK close is important, so that's good because it is providing the extra veterancy to all of the nearby tanks. M1A1 Abrams, gonna be a little bit scary, but low cohesion. Thunderbolt gonna be coming in, takes out the Strela instead of my T-80BBK, which was nice. The T-80BBK, because it was reversing, was facing the wrong way. If it had dropped smoke, it wouldn't have even mattered because the smoke would have come out the wrong way as well. Anyway, Abrams really in trouble. Scouts get spotted and the UAZs are doing a good job screening, and that's exactly what they need to do. This is what I'm doing with my UAZs right now. I'm just using them to screen. All of the infantry will engage the UAZs, and then the UAZs can engage them with the grenade launchers. And because there's so many of these UAZs with grenade launchers, we're actually just destroying the cohesion of them and stunning them and taking them out. The UAZ is continuing the charge. The AT is following up. And once again there, the scouts shooting the AGZs, revealing their location. The other good thing about these UAZs is they're soaking HGMs. So they're basically an early warning system for the rest of my tanks. And so far so good. We're just continuing the push forwards. Another infantry squad spotted, so we're going to take that out. T-80's creeping up, looking for a shot onto the Jaguar and also the M1A1. Cluster strike coming in there, not managing to quite hit the mark. But here we go, Abrams. Soon going to be engaged, actually getting a shot towards the PVADs there, which is nice. Most of these UAZs going down. But it has given us the crucial information that we need. M1A1 taken care of. You can see the Bradley here. Just continuing our drive across to the right hand side. Meanwhile, enemy Apache taken care of. Bradley goes down, PVADs will surely follow. And the wall of armour is continuing its merry journey from left to right. Lots of M9018-3s going to be facing off against us. These do have TOW-2s, so they are pretty lethal, and you can see that 2 of my T-62s have been taken out by them. I managed to clean them up in good time before any of the T-80s go down, which is something I'd be more concerned about. Meanwhile, supply trying to catch up. You can see that my T-62s and T-80s are actually getting low on fuel as well. So I do have to be a bit careful with how much I maneuver across the field here. PVADs managing to not get hit by both of those Abrams. Or both those HGMs, sorry, not Abrams. Meanwhile, we have Cobra now joining us in an attack onto Foxtrot, and he's managed to get the T-80BBK in there, so that's giving us the +1 now against the enemy. So we're finally going to be able to get our score above the enemy. I've got some more UAZs on the way to push ahead of my tanks so that we can continue to sweep across here and just flank into these enemies that have done pretty well so far, to be honest. All the while, I am leaving a couple of tanks back. You've got the T-80BV here and the T-62. Both of those just making sure that they can't just run straight into this sector. But the rest of my forces currently putting a lot of pressure onto the right-hand side here. So I don't want to get hit by the Bradley TOW2 either. Able to get into gun range though. Take that out. Got to be careful of the Apache. It's got Hellfires. Managed to avoid that one at least. And that one I managed to smoke off just in time. Pulling back, hoping that Farks can get his Tunguska up here as soon as possible. But meanwhile, the AGZ is quite happy to push on forwards, because I'd be happy for them to absorb some AGMs for me, potentially. My T-80BVK there, getting harassed by the Apache. Gotta be careful with that, but here we go. AGS 17 versus Humvee with 40mm. Actually, that's the Humvee with a 15 cal. I thought that was the 40mm grenade launcher. Osa gets the first shot on target on the Apache. And the second one. Quite a rare 2 in a row hit from an AA piece. But a good kill, for sure. Because it allows us to not have to worry about that Apache anymore. And those really, really strong Hellfires. So 3 T-80BVs are going to be screened by 5 UAZs. Make that 4 as the M1A1 takes one out. We've got the T-80BVK coming up the rear and bringing over one of my T-62s that I left on the left-hand side. We're just continuing to support Wooden Box here. We've got Cobra, of course, pushing across. We're slowly but surely getting a lot of work done. And these UAZs, as soon as they get into range of any of this infantry or this machine gun, for example, able to do loads of damage. So this is going really, really well. And now the 2A4 Hero Strike in a little bit of trouble. 111 coming in for a bombing strike. Going for the Tunguska there. Also manages to hit my Osa a little bit. But both of them survive, so that's okay. BGS spotted by the UAZs. Those go down very, very quickly indeed. Now I've got to be a little bit careful as the noob has decided to bring in the M1A1HA. If we can kill that off nice and quickly, we can continue our way into this sector on the right-hand side, which is kind of the plan at the moment. The M1A1 going to get hit by the first of those HGMs. Nice shot from Farks on the left-hand side there. T-80B finds the side shot. Now a 2A4 arriving. Strike. And the Toad Cobra's coming forward. We've got 2 Tornado IDSs on the way. Gotta be super careful right now. Those managing to get their cluster off. Actually going for the Wooden Box in the end. Wooden Box, he loses his command T-80. Well, that's the only one, and I would say that he pretty much got away with that. Unfortunately, my T-80BV getting caught out by all of the tows. My MO24B here actually running out of ammunition, so not able to continue the engagement there. So I'm going to back off as well, try and keep my T-80BVK alive. These T-80BVs back. Meanwhile, T-62 going to be providing some HGM support onto the push of Cobra as he continues with his T-80s over on the right-hand side. All those HGMs just slowly but surely smashing the Leopard 2A4 to pieces. The other nice thing about having HGMs on the Soviet tanks is that even if you don't have penetration value, you always do 1 damage, so like they're pretty much always effective regardless. That T-80 BBK though getting absolutely smashed by artillery. More AGSs on the way. You can see I brought them in to provide a screening force for these T-80s, but I noticed that the T-80s are getting relatively low on health, so not going to be too helpful if they're all dead. Managing to get a bunch of nice kills in here, but the Tow Cobras and the Sea Knight Cobras managing to force them back for the time being. I forced the smoke off. T-62 does find the M113. OSA now going to be trying to move forwards and get some shots on target. There's T-62 taking a lot of shots here. Trying to get the smoke off. Just in time. The Leopard 2A3 trying to find side shots. Big 23 ML. Really not going to do too well at diving into helicopters like that. Unfortunately, T-62 doesn't really survive. So, 3 T-80 BVs going to be supporting a push of wooden boxes, T-80Us and UDs. Cobra's coming back to repair his. We're getting ready for the next push into Hotel. Meanwhile, however, Echo has been captured. They did manage to sneak a command into Echo, and that has kept the score pretty close. You can see that it's currently 400 to pretty much 400. Artillery hitting wooden boxes. Tunguska in the meantime, obviously not good. We've got to be really careful not to lose too much of our AA, because it does leave us vulnerable to all of those Cobras with their ITOs and TOW 2s. Yeah, wooden box, you can see, is apprehensive at pushing forwards with the Apache there on the flank. Does need to be careful. MI8's going to be coming up to repair those T-80s. I've got my Mi-24V reloaded as well, so at least we're going to have some Iglas ready to go with that. We do have Barang moving up here and putting a lot of pressure onto the 2A3, so taking out any of these heavy tanks at this point is very, very nice, because it sort of gives us the overwhelming advantage that we need to really crush things. T-80BV managing to get the better of the M1A1HA there for the time being, and PTR-60PBK coming in to capture the centre. I'm going to manage to get the cap off, and then I can just hide that if I need to. Su-27 coming in, lovely engagement. But multiple enemy aircraft coming in, F-16, Eagle. Eagle even shoots down my Su-25 that dived for some Abrams in the centre. I did manage to kill the M1A1HA with that, so it was somewhat worth it. Both of these AH-1Fs actually pretty low. Don't believe he managed to shoot them down though, as he did dive for that. Anyway, Cobra's now moving forwards with his T-80Us, so I'm going to be following him, get my UAZs ahead. Look at that. Absolutely awesome. A massive display of armor. Ready to make a brute force attack across the open. We're joined by wooden boxes, tanks on the right. Mine and Cobra's tanks coming in from the left. And we're pushing on to the M1A1 Abrams here. Very quickly indeed. No time for them to really react as that push goes underway. On the left-hand side, you can see the BTR got moved back out of that sector, but let's keep focused on this right-hand side, as it is absolutely epic as all of the forces continue to push up and come under mortar fire. Not going to be doing too much, maybe chipping Some HP here and there. But overall, things going very well. It's up to my UAZs to just push into the tree line here and reveal any enemy forces I want to deal with. Meanwhile, my now 5 TATVBs firing towards a Leopard 2A1 with their ATGams. Need to focus down the Toad 2 as soon as possible. Get rid of those. Just because they do have the potential to do quite a bit of damage to the 17 front armour of the TATVB, because those Toad 2s have 25 penetration. And the Toad 2s all now taken out, and we're able to fire our ATGems at the Leopard 2A4. Takes a decent chunk of damage, has already used up its smoke, but so is under a lot of pressure. There we go. Another volley of ATGMs flying forwards and wiping it out. UAZs pushing now up on the right hand side, but here come the Cobras. The Cobras are back. This time, however, we've got the Strullers in position. And they're going to be able to help take care of those. So the MiG-23 coming in there for the bombing strike onto the Panzergrenführer. That's going to open up this right-hand side. My Mi-24 trying to get the Iglas on target as best I can, even under fire from the Gepard there. Unfortunately, the Gepard not killed off in time. Let's take out the Apache, so that's good. AH-1Fs running for the hills. TATVBs now in hot pursuit as we continue our way forwards. Hoping that Tunguska gets the kill, and it does. If we didn't have any AA, one of those Apaches could pretty much kill all of these tanks. So I do have to be a bit careful. But MiG-21 there, managing to finish off another one of those aircraft, which is really nice. And now chasing an Eagle with that. It's going to run out of missiles and then get shot down by the Stingers. In the mid, things have kind of slowed down quite significantly, but on the right-hand side, more UAZs on the way, as I'm going to prepare now for a push into the enemy base. And so far, this has just been an absolutely insane push. Soviet forces just smashing across the open, brute forcing this game. Really, really fun. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far, because I mean, it's not over yet. You can see that we do still have a ways to go till victory, with only a +2, because on the left hand side they are making some decent progress there, and they're also contesting Charlie a little bit. So we've got to honestly put pressure into this sector if we want the game to finish anytime soon. And the longer it goes on, the longer we do build up, and since we have an advantage already, it will just become more of an overwhelming advantage. But here we go, more of these UAZs on the way. In this case, going to be backing up the center. On the right hand side, now got 6 TATBVs, including a TAT. Oh well. A TATBBK, making that 7 TATBVs. Just shifting it over for the time being. Getting ready for the next push that we want to make. A little bit of a lull in the storm. On the left hand side, we'll watch the helicopters come up, try and overwhelm the 2A3 here. The rocket's not really doing too much, but you can see as the AT missiles connect, they're starting to really chip the health of those tanks. Any infantry that reveals itself getting absolutely destroyed. Look at those infantry just get decimated. 1A18 Abrams CP getting taken out there is actually pretty important. But on the right hand side, we're now making the push towards the next sector. Boosters firing away, taking down the AH-1Fs for us now. I've got an MI2 that's going to be moving forwards to provide me with recon so that we can charge effectively, not have to worry too much. We've just got an attack move order so that we're engaging anything we see as we move forwards. Units like this tow, we've got to really try and kill off as soon as possible. This engineer with the dragon there. SU-24s meanwhile coming in from Cobra, looking for the bombing strikes. Look at that. It's always spectacular to watch those bombing strikes come down. And side shot into the M1A1. MiG-21. Meanwhile, gonna manage to shoot down the enemy helicopter. Oh, that BGS getting lit up. Yeah, there's a lot of tanks here now. MI2 moves forwards to try and provide some recon, but gets hit by the enemy stingers there. Alpha jet taken out. Meanwhile, just absolutely crazy push forwards at the moment with all of these tanks. Just making sure to face if I see any of the ATGMs. But since we're only back to a +1, getting into this sector is actually pretty important. This is actually a +2 sector, so if we can at least contest this, we can take it back to a +3. And the rest there getting found. Now just waiting for the right moment to push up this ridge. Because this is elevation, and I want to be in position to hit the M1 without really losing a tank if possible. So I got the T-80 BVK into position so that it could provide the leadership. Now we're going to zoom up the hill and engage everything we see. Managed to take out the M1A1 on the right nice and quickly. The one on the left was taken out as well, but ATGM comes in from the left hand side, takes out one of my T-80 BVs. Now getting shot at from the town as well. And because I had no recon in front of my tanks, there was units right in front of us and I couldn't see them. And this is where the UAZs can come in handy, which I've now got in abundance following me up. But because I have no infantry, I can't really, again, screen myself moving up. Usually what you do in that scenario is you probably have a line of infantry in front of your tanks before you push up, and then you spot all of the HGMs and the enemy AA units and everything, so you're cleaning them out as you move forwards. In this case, obviously, all my T-80 is pretty blind to those units, and therefore I lose tanks. But in this case, the artillery hitting pretty spot on as it manages to kill another of my T-80 BVs. I believe it was firing at the location of AA previously, and I ended up reversing into it by accident. SPG-9 UAZs now engaging the M1A1. We're kind of overwhelming it with firepower there. Got enough T-80 BVs that I can continue this push, and you can see that my UAZs in the town are still moving forwards effectively. I say effectively, freely I should say. They're not necessarily being effective, as they are getting taken out by the AH-1F once they come into rocket range. But we're getting close to getting the T-80 BVK into the sector, and that's the most important part. Meanwhile, on the left hand side, Rizal has managed to get in here with his M1A1HAs. The RDM to you, all fucked. Currently capturing that sector all on its lonesome. But we're going to be now pushing a +5 as we manage to get the BBK into position. Now the T80BV is going to have to deal with an enemy M1A1HA on the right hand side, and also the Bradley there, of course. Not able to get the smoke off in time due to the stun. Unfortunate. Now our opponent on the right hand side, however, is going to surrender. So that is one player down that we would have to otherwise deal with. HGM's going to be flying away towards the M1A1HA. Having a real bad time there. And is going to get taken out. The best thing for us to do now is just try and find the command here in Gulf, and that way we can just get the +7 going. But I think the AI actually ended up moving the leader out of the sector. I've got a BTR on the way. It's got a long way to go though. But I thought I would double up on the command here so that we can secure the victory for this game. Meanwhile in the mid, Cubs did manage to shoot down a tornado. But what an incredible game this was. Just huge tank pushes between multiple players working together, pushing forwards. Really just putting the work in. The noob now surrendering as well. Really solid opponent. Put up a good fight with his M1A1s. But things really getting out of hand for the opposing team as the +5 continues to tick forwards. Mutschützen now on the way. Fark's providing plenty of infantry here himself. All these Motorstrauki dropped off by the BMP2s into the town. Cobras slowly being dealt with by the Strela Telems. Left side actually in trouble. You can see that the Leopard 2A4s and the M1A1HAs actually getting a decent amount of work done there. But didn't manage to get a command into the sector just yet. But the fights continue. American side there was shooting the Milans and other HGMs and Stingers and stuff throughout the game. Always cool to watch them get shut down. Alpha Jet coming in. Let's see if it survives, shall we? A little bit optimistic, let's say. As it comes in for that napalm strike. Not really able to get the job done. Look at the amount of tanks here. There's just so many. Look at that. I'm just going to take a screenshot. So many. We're still moving forwards as well. These are my T80BVs moving up. Helicopters flying overhead. You just got to admire how there's just no other game like it, is there? Let's be honest. Just the sheer detail when you zoom in. And then the scale when you zoom out. Incredible. Anyway, my T80BV is coming into a really nice flanking position here. AI, mainly AI, now pushing things down the road and getting absolutely slaughtered. Another BV arriving, T80BVK even moving up, my BTR's now in position. Just an absolute turkey shoot for my tanks through the tree line. all the infantry moving through the town. Yeah, so in the end, my infantry, not allowed deck, was made up for by my teammates. They brought a lot of the infantry that we needed for the infantry scenarios. And I just provided the tanks. A lot of tanks. And a lot of UAZs. We can't forget the UAZs that sacrifice themselves in order to scout and be early warning systems for my T-ATBVs. T-ATUs now joining the sniping position here. It's the Leopard 2A3. And the Abrams go down. +3, 1 minute 10 left on the clock. Left side was captured by the enemy team in the end. I did move some T-ATBVs over there. You can see I'm also moving up the T-ATBVK. Just hoping to catch out any vehicles as they come up the slope here, because just like the other side of the map, there is a slope in front of this sector. So I was hoping to maybe catch out a tank or two. Now back to a +1. MiG-29 coming in for a nice hit there onto the H1F. There's lots more reinforcements coming down this road. AI flooding in. Tons of units there. Offside, ready and waiting for these Leopard 2A4s to come over the ridge. They're currently holding back just because the MO-24D they're actually getting a lot of rockets on target. The enemy Bob is in sight on that right hand side, destroying that actually while all this infantry is nearby. Would kill them. Because that would go up like a nuke. Well, not quite a nuke, but definitely be a large explosion. Lots of stuff being taken out. T-ATs now charging forwards. Finding as many kills as possible. At this point it was pretty much just a race for the kills. So I'm now going to target the Feld Depot. But the M48 already went down. Artillery coming in. Getting the kill. That's going to go up. The ammunition taken out. Abrams goes down. I think that was actually on the left hand side. I've got a bunch of T-ATBVs here now. Actually 5 T-ATBVs backed up by a T-ATBVK. It's still going. Still going. And you can see what started in the center of the map. We rolled over to the right hand side here. Look at all of these wrecks. Just kept going all the way over here. Some leftover T-80 wrecks. And then continued up onto the ridge. And we now continue to engage all of these extra units coming in. But that is the +3. And that is victory. What a game. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. In the end, 10,077 kills to 4,210 losses. Wooden Box, who was joining me there in that push with his T-ATUs, managed to pip me to the post with 10,202 kills and 3,100 losses, so slightly better KD. My T-ATBVs getting so many kills, the Osas getting kills, the Kubs getting kills, the Akatsaya picking off the Milans for me there, as you can see. Yeah, but the Osas doing really well, and then the rest of it's mostly just T-ATBVs. Occasionally a UAZ pops up with a couple of infantry kills, but that's about it. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.